Hi, welcome back to Plan9Crunch. I am Joe Gibson, and every week we turn your attention towards something in the realm of cult literature. Sometimes I bring in comic books or graphic novels, and some of the time I feel a little weird about it, frankly, but today I have no remorse. Our topic today walks both worlds, classic literature and a Godzilla adventure. The last Monsterpiece Theater we looked at was Godzilla vs. the Great Gatsby. And rather than continuing that story, this series is living up to its anthology nature by letting Godzilla traverse other classic literature, including Romeo and Juliet, The Odyssey, War of the Worlds, The Wizard of Oz, and more. Seriously, they keep announcing these, and I had to rewrite this part of the script multiple times. There is also a mini-story pertaining to Robin Hood that is unfolding in the background. Initially, I heard that it would be across all these crossovers, the Robin Hood story. But a representative from IDW on Facebook DM'd me to say it's only in the Odyssey edition. And that's confusing because I had the first part of that Robin Hood story here in the Romeo versus Juliet. Romeo and Juliet, sorry about that. This is confusing, but just to be safe, you should try and get each of these when they come out. And I will try to. But it's already getting a bit ridiculous with distribution of these small issues on Amazon, which is where I used to get these things from. So I hope we get a volume collection at some point so I can get all these together. That's how I got Monsterpiece Theater's volume, was at Barnes & Noble. So, when I covered Godzilla vs. the Great Gatsby, I took a lot of pleasure in the ways that it actually balanced the Great Gatsby source material with the pulp adventure. Despite including a whole host of cameos from the literary canon as well as giant monsters, the story still had stakes and remained true to Gatsby's angst, especially the closing moments of his story with the pool, though a less fatal context. This next time will be different. If I have read the original Romeo and Juliet, it was far less enthusiastically for school, and I have since forgotten the nuances. It is the least interesting Shakespeare play to me. That's mainly because too many people view it as a straight romance and not a satirical tragedy. Adding Godzilla and Mothra to Romeo and Juliet inherently makes it a bit more silly. And the fact that every character is still focused on the romance, while literal giant monsters are rampaging, makes it feel farcical enough to the point that I can enjoy this. At the same time, there is a good bit of thought put into the implementation of these giant monsters. The Shobijin, Mothra's twin fairies, narrate this issue as though they were a Greek chorus type thing. So, the Montagues and Capulets rivalry is obviously important to every version of the story, but not every version of the story has the Capulet head of house piloting a wood-based Mechagodzilla against Godzilla. Otherwise, this hits the basic beats I know of. Romeo and Juliet, pretty faithfully weaving in each death scenario well into the text. I don't really want to spoil too much, though, of this issue, since pop culture osmosis has already disseminated the Romeo and Juliet parts, but the kaiju happenings are generally in the background of things. Like, in this case, the fatal duel of Tybalt and Mercutio is on top of Godzilla's head. That's a fun little gimmick that I have now spoiled for you, despite the fact that you already know what happens to the fight, you know. But I know you all are dying to hear the informative aspects of this video that will keep it fair use to the people that worked on this book and some of its legal information. So, written by Adam Tierney, art by Sean Peacock, lettered and designed by Brian Kolek, edited by Jake Williams. And this edition is the April 2026 first printing. If Godzilla and Robin Hood was not meant to be in the main editions or in the later editions from June 2026, that might explain what that person meant, that this was a primer for the later side story. I don't know. I saw some 2026 printings of this. I don't know whether or not they had the Robin Hood. I didn't check at the comic shop. But we have some other not titles, other covers in here. Some by Tom Scioli, though that's for the Robin Hood thing, which he did. And this one also by Tom Scioli. That's the one they went with for the cover of this one, so yeah. I'd be remiss not to mention the Robin Hood segment here. We've all heard the old tale, stories of a kingdom so evil, denizens from hell climb out of the depths to destroy it. Sometimes it's locusts, sometimes it's great beast, a pitch-black dragon from the pits. Sometimes I think I might be that dragon. And it's Robin Hood there. And we skip ahead, a sword fight. A sword fight above Godzilla's gaping maw. This is a fun one. I would definitely pick it up if you liked Monsterpiece Theater. I had to say that because I'm not really a fan of Romeo and Juliet, but if I can get my hands on the other issues, I would have some fun talking about all of them, really. Especially the Odyssey. And I could pair up the others into one slightly longer video so that you don't have to watch too many of these. I think if you had to watch 8 different videos of me going through the various Monsterpiece Theater issues, that'd be less interesting. It would wear out its luster if you're not collecting the series by that point. But okay, we got a lot of other stuff on this channel. If you would consider liking or subscribing, make sure to check out the other stuff. We also have a Facebook page and a conventional blog. Follow the channel links for more of those. Thank you all for watching, and that's a wrap.